What's going down, people? How you doing? This is TK coming at you, and gotta hit you with the real, because people live in a fake world of fantasy land where real is offensive. And it gets me in a lot of trouble because I tend to share real information and real thought processes, and people come back with their fantasy and their offendedness because I'm fucking with their fantasy. Gets me into trouble all the time. Was in this one conversation because it just popped on my timeline, and it was all about religious control based on sexuality, which is a major factor ingrained into our society today. You know, religion is the biggest form of psychological mastery to control human behavior that's ever been created. Man gave you religion to keep you subdued and in place, therefore underneath another man's foot. So, of course, when it comes to sexuality, that's the biggest form of immorality or control that comes out of religion. So if you blink too hard, especially if you're Catholic, you're going to hell and fire and damnation, and whoa, the devil himself is gonna come down and burn you. And that's the way people operate. And I felt like I was back in 1950 within the Bible Belt, the way this guy just spewed out or threw up religious psychology mastery control mechanisms just because I suggested the fact that instead of going external for your control measures, you should go internal. And I suggested to him on his post that the ultimate goal should be to raise your vibrational rates so that you change your character based on you being a different person. And woe came the Bible Belt and damnation, and you're going to hell. All this shit that he threw up. And verse 3 of verse 1 says, all people will go to hell unless they repent. And I was like, brother, bless you. Good luck to you. But you're proof that religious control is mastered in terms of human behavior. And you're the prime example of this psychological game that's been played on the whole world. So that always gets me in trouble. Every time I present a non-accepted aspect of somebody's fantasy, it causes some sort of trigger in their mind that goes against their psychological programming, and they snap. And it's surprising, and not surprising in terms of, it's just funny to look at it when you see it for what it is, you know. And I look at it and just laugh, like, dude, you know, the Catcher in the Rye is showing, you know what I mean? I just triggered your deep psychological programming that now your fantasy is being disrupted, and you have a problem with that, you know. So it's not necessary, you know. Live and let live, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else's decisions have zero to do with your life. You don't have to quote damnation because somebody's behavior is outside of your fucking control measures. And that's what the whole post was about. There's a woman, she decided to have some fun on her bachelorette, and it was immoral, trampy, God-forsaken, hell-bent. You know, all of her actions were not sanctified and purified. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing I was suggesting in the post, you know, her actions are her actions. Fucking her wedding night, her bachelorette party, she decided to do what the fuck she wanted to do. But I was saying that people should control their actions based on elevating their spirit, elevating their character, and seek from within, not from external factors of damnation and control. But that triggered a lot of fucking psychological defense mechanisms that came out of this dude. And I was just like, yo, man, be well. Good luck to you. I'm out. You know, me making a simple suggestion like that shouldn't trigger someone's programming to the point where they have to get defensive and they have to attack the person that made the suggestion. But that shows you how well this psychology works. That shows you how this masterful programming, this advanced level psychological attack is all about. You know what I'm saying? You were given religion, but before religion there was something. And if you go back, you can then go forward. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Because it leads me to the other topic of conversation, where in the same nature, in someone reacting to me presenting something and not being able to accept a different paradigm, is what I always talk about, which is Bitcoin. And in the gold group, which I said I'm going to leave, because obviously there is no way to trigger a learning process and an accepting within these pre-programmed people who refuse to accept anything that's outside of their fantasy. So it dovetails because it's the same psychological trigger and it's the same result, but it's on a different topic. The other topic that triggered that result is the gold bugs who fucking won't wake up to Bitcoin. So personally, I don't give a fuck if you invest in Bitcoin, invest in gold. It has nothing to do with what the fuck I invest in. That's number one. Number two, when you speak about Bitcoin, if you're biased to it because you're a gold bug, speak on it based on the fact that you have studied and learned the principles that make Bitcoin work. If you don't fucking know that, then shut your fucking mouth and stop speaking about opinions and lies, because that's what comes out of your mouth. Throw up that becomes propaganda, biased opinion, and ignorant lies. Because the other guy in the group says, well, Bitcoin can be produced massively, and there's 1 million Bitcoins. And guess what? There's so many other cryptocurrencies. But gold is finite, and you cannot produce 1 million pieces of gold. So gold is better because it's finite. And I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to say that cryptocurrency and a lot of different coins, but especially Bitcoin, is considered digital gold because it holds some of the same properties as gold. In other words, just as gold is finite, so is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is set within a mathematical algorithm to issue at a fixed rate and only issue 21 million coins. So the amount of issuance is pre-programmed and predictable, and the rate in which it's released is controlled, and there is a finite number. It's 21 million coins. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. So speak from experience or speak from knowledge, not from your fucking asshole when you're spewing up lies and opinions. If you want to speak on the difference, then speak on the difference. And come from an educated standpoint of facts, not a fucked up standpoint of opinions. So the issue is that Bitcoin is electronic version of cash. You don't question cash. If I give you that debt note that's printed from a central authority, you don't question it. You look at it and you say, wow, okay, this looks like a real piece of debt. And you accept it. You have faith and confidence in the central authority that enslaves you, and you accept that debt note. Now, Bitcoin exists just like electronic cash, because the mathematical algorithm behind Bitcoin and the consensus network within the 4 components that make up Bitcoin ensures that the ledger accounting measure behind it is real. So if I send you value in Bitcoin, it's real. It's just like cash. There's no reason to question it. There's no reason to seek a third party's approval. Okay? So Bitcoin is many of the characteristics that exist within gold. It is just like cash. It's a form of value that can be transferred between 2 people without a third party. without permission. That is why I encourage people to participate, because it is an electronic version of. Now, what the future may hold for Bitcoin, we don't know. But one thing that you can say is that even if Bitcoin was to fail, there will be another electronic version of cash to take its place. So you cannot say that it has no value when people put $53 billion into the exchange of it, which gives it value along with the faith and confidence. Speak from opinion. Don't speak from opinion, speak from facts. Learn about the dynamics that make this industry or this payment method different from other payment methods. A lot of the inherent problems within cash doesn't exist within Bitcoin. Learn about them.